¿Dónde está el shoutbox, Pantera? Where's the shoutbox? Yeah. Es que yo no lo veo. Ok. Todavía no lo veo. Me
Ahí,
sale el
ahí
ID.
vengo, espérame.
No, güey, no me dejes solo.
No, ahí, espérame.
Güey, si hablamos inglés, vamos a hacer que estos güeyes se caguen de risa.
Ni merga, yo no voy a hablar en inglés.
Bueno,
¿Ves? Ya vine.
ok.
Ya empiezo a hablar en inglés. Empieza.
Aguántame, es que todavía no empiezan.
Ah, ok.
Oh boy, are the people in the V2 draft room yet? So they are. So we're still waiting on the first pick.
Seth, are you there?
I am here.
Your draft was great, man. Congrats.
I couldn't quite understand that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought.
Dice que estás bien pendejo. Ah.
Sí, güey, ya vi. No mames. No sé cómo hacerle para enseñarme, güey, a hablar en inglés. Tan
No
cabrón.
que, no que muy perro.
Ay, pues sí, güey, pero nunca hablo.
Pues no,
Solo
güey.
escribo.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the
Pendejo.
verga. Nada, esto es una mamada.
All right, so it looks like CJ went first. It's a really good pickup for RG3. CJ is questionable at times as far as his bumping capabilities, but he has the ability to score a lot of goals in D2.
No mames, pinche voz de violador.
Güey, yo sí le entiendo lo que dice, pero no le puedo contestar porque no se entiende ni madre lo que yo digo. Dijo que CJ es una muy buena elección, güey, para RG3. Y que sabe qué de los bombs.
Ese güey debería ser comentarista de eso de la NBA o de la NFL, no
Sí, güey,
sé.
pinche voz de violador, güey, no mames. ¿Por qué vergas no está la tablita, güey? ¿Qué pedo?
¿Lo qué?
La tablita, donde ponen las
¿Cuánto?
pinches elecciones. Mira, güey, tenemos aquí audiencia latina, güey. Tenemos a Negro Paja y a Rakitic.
¿Tú estás administrando eso, güey?
Y a Crack, güey. Sí, güey, bueno, estoy viendo el stream.
No. Ya.
Ahí están diciendo mamadas. Ay, Arjen. Arjencita, te amo.
Lo bueno que sí hay gente que nos entiende, ¿verdad?
Se me hace que hay más, güey, que gringos.
Un saludo, crack. Te amo. A ti más, Sargent. Ya sabes, chiquito.
Crack tiene que ser de los primeros, güey. Ha mejorado. Solo que
Sí.
estuvo muy competido el de primera división. Si no, sí entraba fácil.
Sí, fácil. Hoy jugué con él y sí, anduvo muy buenecillo el güey. Muy listo.
Pues sí, güey.
¿Alguien ya quedó en D1? ¿Con quién?
Arjen, nada más.
¿Con quién? ¿Con este
Con
set?
Uranus, creo. No, güey. Sí, con Seth.
Ah. Sí, está bien pendejo, mira. Dice, Polola es novia, ¿no? En Sudamérica, algo así.
Sí, güey.
Novia.
En Chile.
Polola.
Sí.
Pinche alguien. Más digo, pinche Brad.
Brad.
Neta, güey, hay más latinos que gringos en el chat.
Sí, güey. Oye, ocupo ver la pinche tablita. No sé ni quién sigue de quién.
Pues Panther es el que hace eso, ¿no? Pero está ocupado, no sé qué chingos está
Sí,
haciendo.
güey, Pantera le valió verga. Este pendejo, güey. Eligió a Brano, ya lo eligieron en la primera división.
¿A
Sí,
quién?
Abraham. Bien pendejo. Pinche Belindo.
¿A quién escogió?
A Brano, güey.
¿Qué Brano no quedó en División 1?
Sí, por eso, güey.
Pinche. Ay, Dios mío.
Pinche Belindo.
No mames.
Güey, igual y no lo vio. No lo culpo.
No mames.
Boss Bunny, güey. ¿Qué pedo con ese, güey?
Como dices, güey, tiene pedos en la cabeza.
No, Dudu. Seth is... I don't know where he is. Seth, are you there?
Yeah, I am so distracted right now.
Oh, okay.
Dice que está muy distraído.
Sí, güey.
Huevo, ya. Soy una verga.
All right, let me catch up. So it looks like CJ, Highs, I think Gona went to the Manatees. I have lost track.
A ver, ¿dónde eligió
Ándale.
¿Sabes quién verga, güey? A Crocodilo.
¿Quién?
Crocodilo, güey.
¿Pero quién escogió este RG3?
No, Belindo.
Oh,
¿Quién chingados es Crocodilo, güey?
mira, güey, ya se está quejando el Snow.
Oh man, alright.
No.
What pick are we
Okay.
on right now?
Seth, where can see? Wait. Where can we see the table for the picks?
Yeah, it updates real slow, so I'm behind on where exactly we are.
Okay.
But I'll provide commentary as we go. Oh, Coates and Crack are both really solid picks. Those are potentially they're right at the edge of my board at the end of D1. They'll do really well in D2. Really solid picks right there.
Muy bien. Ya llegaron mis papás, güey. Vale, ver.
No mames. Pues
Te voy
enciérrate
a
en tu
dejar cuando
cuarto.
acabó.
No mames. Yo tengo aquí a mi mamá pichilado y no digo nada.
Ay, güey, pero es que ellos son bien, ¿sabes cómo, güey? Se van a poner a chingar.
Güey, te están escuchando todos.
Me vale padre, güey.
Bueno,
Nadie entiende.
sí, güey. Están más latinoamericanos.
Ni los conozco, güey, nomás alguien.
Bueno,
Lo voy a encerrar, pues.
Rakitic está hablando de ti. Ay,
He didn't really take Larry, did he?
dice que me ama.
Oh, okay, no, we're making jokes. You know, the spam hits so fast that I don't even see what the pick is as soon as it's announced. I could not even tell you who just got picked because everybody immediately put in like 4 or 5 messages. Gladiator, good solid pickup right there for the Celestials. He's a really big player in Brazil, potentially D1 talent, but hasn't really adjusted to the 4v4 format. But he can do really well in D2 because it plays so open.
It's Brazilian.
Gladiator is a Brazilian player, yeah.
Oh,
Es bueno, güey. Hoy jugué con él. Sí la hace. Si fuera más conocido, se pudo haber ido a la primera división.
güey, te escuchas más culero, güey.
¿Por qué?
What pick is that? I don't even know who's being selected right now. IMA, okay, that's the pick. I'm not entirely... We're reaching the point where I don't know exactly who the players are. So we'll see.
Ay, Marcelo.
Looks like everyone has done their homework. All these picks are coming in pretty fast. I think a lot of D2 GMs are looking for those hosts early. Now, Bam Bam is a fascinating pick. He's a very talented player. I wasn't even sure if he was on the draft list. If he shows up, he's really fantastic. And he was part of the Bam is banned, as Tip said. I was looking into potentially drafting him. Asked Tip beforehand, and he said that he kind of went off after he was up on the draft board. So he was on the draft list, but was taken off right beforehand. So I can see where that would have been a shaky sort of thing. You know what? I am sounding completely intelligent, and I am talking as well as I can, all by myself now. So I'm sorry to provide a voice in your ear where there would otherwise be complete silence. All right, everybody. I have been mostly silent up until this point, but I am coming to the realization that I am the only voice in here, and so I'm going to talk based on the next picks, though I don't know exactly what has been picked beforehand. Osa would be a really good pick right here. And if that is the pick, good on them. Osa was really strong 2 seasons ago, playing with the Worms, and this past season he did not have great stats, and he had kind of an off thing, had some lag issues. But if he can be around even for half the games, he can do a lot of damage in D2. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about D2 and D1 nowadays is like the talent levels are starting to balance out a little bit. I mean, D2 is competitive for the most part until you throw somebody like Hollow into the mix and throw a wrench into it all. But overall, the talent level is really increasing, and it becomes really hard, especially at the bottom of the D1 draft, to kind of make a determination as to who's ready for the season and who's not, which is why you start to see so many D1, D2 moves as the season starts. I'm just talking about life, Doodle. I'm just talking about everything in the universe. I'm kind of behind on who's actually getting drafted, but I'm the only one here, so I'm just kind of filling some space. I guess RG3 is up, and they have picked up Smoothini, who's pretty solid. He's got 10 out of 10 activity. He's been around, and he could put up some solid numbers in D2. And we'll see who he gets next. RG3 picks up Racer. Racer's a Finn's Raw. What is your actual name? But yeah, anyway, so picking up Racer, nice choice. Racer got some decent talent, but also a really nice host, which is real important for D2. Did we lose a GM? What is going on? Oh, that's right. Hi, Warky. I wanted to draft you real bad, but just based on activity, I couldn't pull the trigger. All right, Bruno, Belgium. Not wholly sure who people are anymore. The round is a round in the D2 draft. Only the top commentary here. I am losing it because I just have no idea who is selecting when, why, or who the players particularly are. Because our league is expanding and getting larger, and I'm losing track. Go range. Just go range. It's all about range. All right, Snow has picked Negro. Pretty solid pickup for him. I do know who you are, Mad Cow. Um, I actually have some knowledge there. Pretty solid pickup for Snow. Another one of the categories of players where I don't have a lot of knowledge. You see, I only had to have my top 42 players selected based on my D1 draft position, and that's about where I stopped because I'm in finals week. You seem to be upset, Crack. To be honest, both you and Crack Coats were pretty up there on my draft list. It just didn't work out with the number of slots I have for a roster. It's hard when we only have 7 people. Because especially as a new GM, I learned last season, it's you don't want to take too many jumps, and so you go for the people who have put up the numbers previously in D1, which is why we have the kind of recycling of players we have, unfortunately, because there's not a lot of research you can do as far as talking to people and looking through tape. Unless I picked up people from D2 based on their tape, like Paranoid from last season, but overall you have to just kind of go with what you know. So that's why it's hard to move up and down, which I know is an unfortunate aspect of the game, and one that we just kind of have to accept. Andyvo is a really good pickup for D2 with his activity. The guy's a pretty solid player and a solid bumper. His activity's not perfect this season, but it'll be enough to make an impact. Looks like Jerry got Monty's. Definitely has a host and definitely has some talent. But yeah, I mean, like, especially, well, I know because when I started in this league, I mean, even now I don't get a lot of respect for the skill I do have. And there's a lot of me fighting just for 5 minutes of playing time, especially when D1 rosters were so big. And it can be really frustrating, especially because it's a lot of hearsay. I mean, like, we know each other based on our usernames or whatever alts we happen to be using, and the only things to go off of are the stats. And if you're a really good GM, you watch at least one game per player, and that's how you get the idea of who's going to do what for you. So it's kind of a rough process. And yeah, we are officially in the range where I am not sure who is who, but I'm sure these are young and talented players that are going to do great things in D2 and be contributing members of their teams. I would really like Snowpone in here right now, just to lay me out with some D2 facts and stat pages. Maybe if I had some research, I could put together some commentary. But instead, I will speak to you in this manner, as if I am lost in the dark. Or, as G. Peros would say, who the star are these scrubs? Now, that is not particularly my approach. I would like to think of them as new and fledgling seedlings eager to grow into hack space-bound trees. But instead, we might call them scrubs, as it were. Dunce, if you would also like to commentate, let me know, and I will send you the room, because I would rather not be alone at the moment. And All-Star takes Mirage, who has been doing... thank you for that, bud. Mirage is taken by All-Star, who has been doing some good things in pubs. He was at least somewhere on my draft board. I think that he could be a really solid player, especially in a D2 context, with a pretty solid activity. D2 is philosophy, Squigs, if you really come down to it. I'll send you a link, Peros. Let me find your member number. You know what? That's going to be too difficult at the moment. So I'm probably just going to let that go. I apologize. We're using TeamSpeak, and to send TeamSpeak info is just a bear, really. I'd really like to. Or if you can PM me, Peros, and I'll PM you back, so I don't have to look for your member name. I am not sure who has been picked right now, because the D2 GMs spam like mad, which is not a mark against them. It's a common instinct to spam a chat box. However, it's incredibly hard to see what's happening. I believe Big Dick has been selected, and if he is the Big Dick I know from pubs, it's a pretty good choice. He's always been a pretty solid player. Easily, could be a starter in D2, pretty easily. I apologize if my commentary is way behind the stream, because I am not in the room, and I'm just commentating on the stream you are seeing right now, probably giving it a few seconds of lag behind. So I'll talk as ambiguously as possible to make sure it lines up with everything. Rammstein is a cool pick by Jerry. Rammstein was around about when I started, and took a break for a while. From what I can remember, he's a pretty solid player, but I haven't seen him play in a while, so who knows? Who knows what he's going to be? It'll be interesting to watch. Okay, it's not the big dick in pubs. I've been misled. It's a new guy, and we can only hope that he can. We can only hope that he can aspire to those heights. I am considering getting a logo commission for my team once I have a paycheck. Depends on the pricing I can work out with the artist I have. That's all. It's all. And if my team's winning, probably that might be a factor. Looks like Iceman was picked. Also a solid D2 pick. 8 out of 8 activity this season. Could do some nice things. A lot of the stage of D2 is going to have to be, played by eye. And we're waiting on somebody to pick. Not sure who anymore. No, I'm currently I'm in TeamSpeak. But if you shoot me a PM, but I'll send you the info. I'll be right back, stream. I will be right back. I was trying to get the info, and there's a server password, and I don't remember what it was. I believe the reason that we are using this chat is because somebody could not use raid call. And I have no longer have any idea what is going on in the stream or what's happening. So, just gonna have a good old conversation with the stream chat. Oh, I realize I'm also hosting a room right now. I'm probably lagging the hell out of that. Thank you for the support, Squigs. I believe I speak to the madness that is existence. Technically, it's not morning yet in my time zone, but I'm doing rather well. I have a storytelling event at a luncheon with some art supporters this morning, so that'll be exciting. Which means I'll be sleeping directly after this draft. So that's interesting. Apollo has selected Naldo, I believe. A name I know, and a solid pickup at this point in the draft. Once all the things update, it'll be interesting to see how these teams iron out. This whole draft process for D1 and D2 has gone a little crazy. Glow picked up by TNT, I believe. Good pickup for him. Glow had a solid season a few ago. Was traded around a little bit. Didn't do as well last season, but can do some decent stuff. Oh man. I'm bringing sexy back. Yep. Dun, 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 dun. Yep. Did I ever tell you guys about the first time I went camping? I don't remember the first time I went camping, so I probably haven't. We don't know who's on the draft list. We don't know who signed up and who didn't. I don't know who anybody is anymore. I'm talking way behind the stream, I can tell you that much. This sentence I'm saying now will probably come up in about 30 seconds. In the time I've commented on this draft, my team had a nice little communion. I had 100% attendance. You know, guys, existence itself is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, think about us right now. Sitting or standing, I mean, I don't know what your preference is, but we're standing at computers all across the world, looking at a series of changing pixels in order to imitate how we're going to spend our Thursday and Sunday nights over the next few months. And that will depend on that'll influence our emotions and how we feel about life. And you know, this is a really interesting game that we play, and a really interesting community. We're here playing a sport that when we try to talk to other people about, they say, "Oh, is that like soccer?" And we say, "Well, sort of." Or you guys are, you know, more normal than I am and don't talk about this to your friends. I know for a fact that G. Brad occasionally has his playoff games projected in front of his friends. I'm curious now how many people actually talk about this game outside of the context of Hack Spacebounds. That's basically what's happened, Neokman. And I tried to send you the information for TeamSpeak, but I don't know the password. And the stream is currently taking the audio from TeamSpeak, and if we went to raid call, just nobody would hear us. So I have completely forsaken who is getting picked anymore. I will let your eyes interpret those, and I will comment as I can. It's probably best that we don't talk about this to our friends too often. But don't be ashamed, everybody. We're here for a reason, because the competitive juices flow within us, and we have a great desire to become masters of the universe if the universe was ruled by a weird hockey, handball, soccer combination played with space physics. And a ball. And SS. I believe Prince has been picked, a man who I know, and I'm not sure of his current hack skill level, but I'm sure he will be a great influence on his team, and will bring them in favor with the royal family. They might decide to kill off the king so that they may have a king on their team. That might get them the D2 crown just by default, you know, because that's how it works sometimes in medieval Spacebounds. No, this is not Panther speaking. Panther has abandoned me and is simply streaming. Ocra was in here temporarily, but I couldn't understand what was being said. So I'm now here alone. And we're going to get weird and existential. Because that's how I provided the most commentary for D2. Because I don't know who the players are. Not because D2 is lesser, Not because I believe their play is incapable of becoming D1 level, but because I didn't do the research that far into the draft list. Because researching drafts takes time, and I don't have time in my life.
No time in your life.
Oh, thank goodness, it's a panther. Welcome, panther.
Why are you by yourself?
Well, you see, I could not communicate easily with Ocra, and I was abandoned, and so I have been here talking about things not the draft, because we have no idea who these players are.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be just as helpful, but hey, at least I'll keep you from going crazy.
There you go. Squigs has brought up an interesting point, and I'm going to try to see who is undrafted right now. However, the draft results do not update with any level of urgency.
Okay, let me see if I can put a draft board in there.
Zabi, if he's not picked right now, would be a really good pickup. And I'm not sure why he hasn't been picked up. Has Nog not been drafted either?
Let's see, I'm looking at the website's draft board right now.
Yeah, the website's draft board updates incredibly slowly. We're also speaking infinitely behind the stream now, because we're not actually in the room, because the world hates us.
So, yeah, because here has up to the 4th round.
Yeah, they're basically at the end. I don't know how many picks are left anymore. All the D2 GMs like to spam immediately when a pick is made. Okay, you know, Dunce. This is hard to keep track of, man. You know, it's a little bit hectic and a little bit confusing, but that's life, you know. And there's some good stuff and some bad stuff, but we basically won't know until it's too late. So we just got to get used to the terror and confusion.
It's just a lot of stuff.
That's another way to put it.
Sometimes you swing and miss. Sometimes you swing and it's a foul ball and it hits somebody in the head. Sometimes it will hit you in the head. This happens.
Sometimes the ball hits a bird and, you know, annihilates it.
Or sometimes it'll be like the Orioles against the, who was it? Tampa Bay Rays in an empty stadium.
You know, as it happens.
Shots fired. Seth, what did you do?
I've been commenting many times on the spam of the D2 GMs, which is not fair, because it happened in D1 as well. But picks will very, very quickly be made and then erased from vision. And as I am tired, it is hard to keep track of. I say nothing to offend anybody, but people take offense.
Is Tip still there, or is he just...
I believe Tip is still there, yes.
Okay, so it's towards the end of the 5th round.
Is that where we are?
Damn, 2 more rounds to go? Come on.
Alright, Black Ninja has been selected by All-Star.
I've been able to pub with Black Ninja recently. He's not bad. He's pretty decent.
Yeah, no, he's practicing. He can do some stuff, you know. He can kick balls. He can score goals. He can bump things.
He can
as
X.
can all players.
Yeah, he's good at Xing and the arrow keys.
Occasionally control. Left control, sometimes right.
Representing the control. That's what I use.
What was taken very early in D1? Probably about the 5th round or something like that.
Earlier. 4th round.
Was it early? 4th round, damn. I thought he might go D1, I just didn't expect it to happen that fast. But he put up good numbers for Neptune, so it's not unreasonable.
Okay. I hope this draft goes by fast because I gotta get up early as hell tomorrow.
As do I. As do I. Hey, don't you arrow interviews. That can be a very useful draft tool, my friend. Right before I GM'd last season, I had to send out a series of about 40 or 50 interviews to people I wanted to draft because I didn't play for a season, so I wasn't sure what mindset people had and who was willing to do what.
I might have to cut out.
Are they looking for a room host?
They're drafting someone based on host, I guess, now.
They're clamoring for people now. I mean, to be honest, at the end of D2 draft, I cannot imagine being a D2 GM. I would go insane. I mean, because you've got new people, you don't know who's around, you don't know when they joined or why they're here. And it's hard to keep track.
And nowadays, you wonder who is an alt.
Well, I mean, not so much. I mean, alts are sniffed out pretty fast, or at least they have been. Yeah, it's Crack isn't going to go undrafted, is he?
Crack is still on the board.
No, he got picked up.
So from what I can see, the only returning D2 team is Apollo. And the Manatees from a couple seasons before.
Luke has been picked up. He's got some decent activity. I don't think he's played recently, but I've seen him around. He's definitely capable. Yeah, there's been a lot of team turnover most seasons, even in D1. The only returning teams are Orcas, Ort now, and Uranus. Lions technically existed previously, but not as the Nittany Lions. Euros, I guess, are also coming back. It's just getting weird now, and that's fine.
Yeah, I was very surprised that Lorien decided to retire the Janissaries.
I was never a fan of that team name anyway. I was cool with that. Maybe that's just me.
Will you ever consider retiring or Cloud Octopi?
Not so long as I GM, no.
Good.
No, I like my color palette. Hopefully, if I stop GMing, someone will take it up. I'm looking to make a legacy here. I'm looking to make an impact. I don't start something with the intention to not finish it.
Do you have any players on your roster that was there last season?
Paranoid. I was shooting for Paranoid and Skylo, or one or the other, but McCutcheon ripped Skylo away from me, and I miss him dearly. It was just 3 picks away from coming back. Paranoid's a great guy to keep around, though.
Syntax off the board, and TNT is mad.
Yeah, I had a few picks stolen from me in this draft. It's really weird being at the end of the rounds.
Okay, halfway through the 6th round. Let's go.
Going for 7 rounds. I think they mentioned potentially going for 8 rounds, but I don't know anymore.
Oh, please, Jesus, no. There's 7 on the dock, so we'll say 7.
Dunn says selected range.
Ranger was still on the board in the 6th round?
Range was still on the board, apparently.
He's a lot better than that. Come on.
Is only game. Why do we have to be mid? I've begun to appreciate in the last 30 or 40 seconds how large our league has actually gotten.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, last couple seasons, there's always been a little bit of desperation when the season ends just because there's no sign-ups, but I mean, we need a break. People need a break, and we saw a lot of sign-ups as a whole.
I mean, yeah, but even so, even us clamoring for sign-ups is to have 2 full-on 8-team, 7 to 8 man roster, competition, and that's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
We have multiple sets of approximately 50 players capable of playing this game at a decently high level, and that kind of interest. So, I mean, you can't really complain. And I'm really grateful that people are sticking around and playing D2 and putting in the time.
There's going to be a fair amount of people that don't get drafted also.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's always interesting. I mean, that's why there's free agency. Especially in D2, you're always going to have people who just don't work out or don't show up. And they'll pick up people real fast. I don't think we've had any free agents who have just gone not picked up by anybody. Even Larry the Lobster has gotten picked up multiple times. So there's always opportunities to play, and that's what it's about, and that's why we have 2 divisions. I'm so happy, how happy-go-lucky me. I just go my way, living every day. I don't worry, no worry, not for me. Things that bother you never bother me. Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine, living in the sunlight, living in the moonlight, having a wonderful time. La 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 la. Living in the sunlight, living in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
Bravo, encore, encore.
The commentary is falling apart. It's all over now.
Yeah. Time to go sleep.
I am excited for the season, though. I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how these teams work out. I have no idea how my team's going to work out. Hopefully fantastic. And maybe I'm a genius. And maybe I've put together just the right pieces.
Hey, you missed the playoffs by, like, what, one game, I think?
I missed the playoffs by 2 goals in a collapse against Uranus. We were up 5 goals. We were up 5 goals going into the third period, win to get in, and we blew it and had an 0-7 period and missed the playoffs. So that's how close I was.
Yeah, you'll make it this season.
Damn straight. Although it's going to be very competitive in D1 especially. All these teams are really strong. Hopefully D2 has some parity as well. There's no longer an ACS to trade Hollow to D2 to wreck that. So hopefully things should be better.
Good point.
My hope, as with any season, is just to get some wins early so the team doesn't get, anxious. It's never fun for a team to have to fight from the bottom. You want to have, at least a good 500 start. G-Thang is up.
I really like your team.
You're talking about Ort?
Your user?
I think it's gonna go well. I'm probably gonna play myself in mid. I'm gonna put Hollow and Brad on the wings when they're there. And then I'm gonna put probably Paranoid in the back. And then Lee and Marcel TV, and when he's around, and Arjun will all be pretty decent option to cycle through. I'd be confident with anybody in our lineup, which is good. There's nobody I stretched for, and there's nobody that I feel is incapable. Seth's team is going to be real interesting. I'm real curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's actually what I was just looking at. The starting 4 with Neo,
Optic,
PG.
Neo, yeah. I mean, if PG can get the rust off, he can be pretty solid. As we are now not talking about D2 in the slightest, because we're awful.
We are awful, but you know what? We are Plan B.
You know what? It's getting late. I have to sleep real soon. So I think I'm going to make my exit here. Because I'm no longer being productive to the stream.
Aww. If you make your exit, you'd tell me so much to make my exit.
Oh, man, well. We're pretty close to the end of the D2 draft. There's not much I can say. I'm excited for the season to start. We're going to have some crazy stuff happening in D1. D2 is always going to be interesting. It's always fun to see how that how that comes together. I'm real grateful that we have the numbers we do in this league, and it's going to be real interesting as we go along. So thanks for listening to me rant draft, or not speak at all in the D1 draft because I was stressed as hell. Thanks for hosting the stream, and I'll see you all soon for some other function, hopefully.
I'll see you on the court, Seth.
That you will. I was close to drafting you, Panther. It didn't line up. I had a few people taken right before I wanted to pick them. It's real frustrating.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. All right. Have a good night, Panther. Have a good night, Hack Spacebounds. See you next time.
And with that note, guys, I sincerely apologize as well. I do have to get up really early in the morning, and unfortunately, I'm not as good a host as I would like to be for you deserving folks out there. And we're now in the last round of the D2 draft. Congratulations to everyone who has been drafted to this point. I'm proud of all of you, and I'm thankful that you are here and keeping the league alive. I will see you next season, and take care.